Hey everyone, it's Kathy. Woo, making a video again. How about that before the end of the year? Anyway, I just was very inspired and I decided to do another reading for you guys. But it's not going to be a story from my book. I'm going to actually read a blog post that I wrote a few years ago. Since I've gotten such huge responses from some other things, I decided to read this one. So for those of you who don't know me, really quick, because I got to get into this, my name is Kathy Pickett, and I am the author of Spirit and Belief, which is a book about my experiences of kind of discovering my intuitive abilities a lot, but it has to do with the Ultimate Warrior, who was a former professional wrestler. And you can find that spiritbelief.com, or it's on Amazon. And I write two blogs. I write one over at Spirit Belief, which is about a lot of spiritual topics, but I write the other one mywarriorwritings.com. So that one's more about what I'm going to read for you today, but stories connecting warrior's life and mine and my journey so far. So the warrior biography that aired on the A&E network back in May, this concerns. And for those of you who do follow my blog, you may have heard this. So this was the dream that I had about a year and a half before the biography aired. And I was actually contacted by the director. And he emailed me through the blog. And then I realized he was legit. And you're going to see why by this. And then we had a phone conversation. No, I'm not in the biography. But just to be contacted was a big thrill. So I'm going to start reading because this is just a little bit, I just didn't want to go too lengthy here. So this is the title. It's called Wild Warrior Buffalo Woman. Okay. And I'm going to skip the beginning because it just talks about buffaloes a little bit. So I'm just going to get in the gist of it so it's not too lengthy. Okay, so this is the dream that I had probably in August, I think it was, of 2019, and I blogged this in October. Okay, so here we go. I was on a movie set in this dream where Warrior was filming a documentary on buffaloes. Huh? He definitely was interested in these great creatures of the northern plains, and I was involved with this project. Wow. First we were teaching together in another dream, and now working on a movie. I wonder where we'll be next. I still don't know my role with this buffalo movie, but I'll take it. Dana was there also, but I never interacted with either of them, just the director. The director decided to show me around the set with a golf cart ride. We were almost done when I saw a little girl sitting by herself. I'm using my paper copy because that's what I do. All right. She seemed kind of sad, almost lost really. This girl totally looks like, oh, so sorry about that. Ha ha, what happens? The phone falls. Okay. This little girl totally reminded me of the girl in the first Santa Claus movie at the soccer field. She just knew he was Santa, and then all these kids formed a line. You can look that scene up. Anyway, so the girl totally looked like her. The director told her we'd be back to pick her up later, but she still seemed confused. That was how I felt, just a little. We returned, and Dana was in an area with a backdrop around her while holding a baby wrapped in a blanket. I noticed her rocking the baby, and my first thought was Indy, who's Indiana, their oldest daughter. I made this connection since in the book, A Life Lived Forever, if any of you have that, Indy signs her name as White Warrior Buffalo in her letter to her dad. So I assumed the baby was her. Just my thought. White Warrior Buffalo Woman teaches relationships between the material and spiritual worlds. Again, my observation, but hey, it's my dream and serves a purpose. Dana just spoke to the baby while waiting her turn. Next, I saw Warrior wearing a jacket with a huge American eagle on the back. It was all red, white, and blue, but hand-stitched. So very cool. He had his long blonde hair and held a script in his hand. I could see him gesturing and talking to several people. This documentary was going to be ultimate. Again, I never went up to him and he never spoke to me. The buffaloes were not that far off in the distance as I looked through the windows. They were so powerful roaming in the mountains. It was then that the director handed me my own script, which contained info on all the people involved. I found my byline, and this is what it read. Even with yoga, she's a wild warrior woman. There had to be other credentials, but that's the part I remember. Yes, there are warrior yoga poses for those that practice. Okay. I found the director and was upset that it seemed to mention yoga as being, not a big deal to me. He said I got it all wrong and that the yoga was a good thing. Oh, so grateful for that explanation. The wild woman part totally connected me to another book I mentioned before, and that book was Women Who Run with the Wolves, and so just sub-wolves for buffalo, and I'm still in that book club. So I talked about that for a minute, but we're going to move on, and there's many warrior archetypes mentioned in that book. Okay, despite all this, the mystery remained as to my real involvement with our beautiful buffalo documentary. I mean, okay, they are spiritual animals, and I love seeing them in South Dakota a few summers ago. We even have them here in Ohio. Obviously, I was not there as an expert by any means. I also was not an extra at all, since they don't really get a byline, do they? Well, no idea how this project got finished, but it was incredible having been part of it all. I just so hope that little girl found her way back to the set. I also so hope to get a scene or two with Warrior and Dana, but knowing they came in this dream for me is truly a gift in itself. I always treasure everything, so maybe I had to just believe, after all. Can you picture where you're working on a project like this? I gotta say, it was great seeing him be so creative and allowing me in alongside his warrior buffalo tribe. Then I have a PS, but that's okay. So, for those of you who've watched the documentary, it was produced and directed by Daniel Amagon, who his production company is called Roaming Buffalo Films. So when he first contacted me, I immediately remembered this dream, and I connected the word buffaloes. And again, if you have dreams that are like this, they're kind of misplaced a little bit. So you're not going to get everything spot on. So the things that connected for me was obviously Warrior, a documentary, and the word buffaloes. Did it exactly tie in? No, but that's just how things go. And no, I was not physically on the set of that A&E documentary in May, but I was still contacted, through email and then our phone call. And it was so humbling, speaking to him. So still a big thrill in of itself. So you're not going to get dreams like this. Maybe you do. But mine were very specific to me, but I don't forget them. And that's why I write them all down, and I share a lot of them with you guys. There's a couple I don't share, or I do some editing because it is very personal and private, and so some things we do have to keep to ourselves. But you can find me, spiritbelief.com, where I write a more spiritual blog and my book, or myworryranks.com, where you'll find more loveliness like this. And so I'm taking a little break right now because of holidays, but you can catch up on that if you want. So I wanted to share my story since it connected with the documentary, and I'm not going to keep talking about that, but there's been a lot of views, and people have talked about dreams a lot lately, and some to me personally. So we all get different things, and you can interpret them in different ways. So I thank you all for listening and watching, and follow me or subscribe to my channel. So I never know when I feel inspired to do a video, and usually I have a long break. I did my year in review, but I just got on to talk about this because I just wanted to share. So that's one of my blog posts. So yeah, dreams are very significant, and they do matter. And, they can be very powerful in your life. And why I had a little bit of that premonition, well, it's kind of one of my gifts. But it comes and goes, and it's not a constant. So, and yeah, a lot of it has to do with warrior stuff. So I was very, very humbled, as I always am. So thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy almost 2022, warriors, and all of you spiritual folks out there. Okay, have a great rest of your day.